Hello, everyone. I think I've gone live now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so good morning, everyone. I am Leah Dixon from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am live here on my Facebook page every Tuesday morning at about 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, I do post these to YouTube later in the afternoon. So if you want to check me out live and you're watching me on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/the Stampin' Pad. So today I'm going to be creating for you using the What's Cooking stamp set. This one's brand new to me. In fact, I only opened the package this morning. It arrived last night. I'm super excited to use this stamp set. So I'm going to switch my screen over. There we go, to my desktop, and I'll show you. This is our stamp set, the What's Cooking stamp set, and then it also has coordinating dies. If you have our catalog, it's actually found on page 34, and it's sold at a 10% discount if you buy the bundle. So the two pieces together are $62 Canadian. So that's a nice savings when you purchase them together. I absolutely like these dies are awesome. These ones all cut out the stamped images, and then these ones actually cut out and like even emboss and everything these other images, so you have even more tools. And so I think it just works so beautifully together. Today, though, I am going to be quite simple in my stamping, and we're not going to use the dies at all. Do keep an eye on my Facebook page and my blog this week, because you will see me creating like some dad cards and stuff using these other pieces and all that. But today we're just going to focus on this stamp set because this stamp set has such great texture to it. Like on the images, you can see that it's got like all the shading and everything. When you stamp your images, it does that. You don't have to do anything fancy. That's not them coloring it in or you needing to color it in. It's like that's how it stamps. So it's so much fun to work with, and the images are so cool. All right, so I'm just going to pop over and see what's happening on my Facebook page, see if I can see anybody here. So right now I don't see anybody live with me, but that could be a Facebook thing too. I don't know. I'm finding it's been a little bit strange for me lately, and not being able to see comments and not being able to see viewers and stuff. So if you're there and I can't see you, I'm sorry, and I will comment on your comments later. All right. Oh, good morning, Janice. So we're going to be stamping with this stamp set, and I've got a thick Whisper White cardstock base, and I'm just noticing I have green knuckles. That's actually not from ink. That's from a birthday cake on the weekend. The dye and the icing was wild. So I've got a thick Whisper White card base. This is just a standard 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp the whole front of this using literally all of these images. We're just going to go through them all, and I'm going to show you how each of them stamps. They're just so beautiful. We're going to stamp them using Smoky Slate ink. So there we go. So I'm going to start with some of my larger images. So I just tap my image into my ink and then press down, and you can see how great that image comes through. Like you do that in a beautiful blue or something, you've got that gorgeous like pottery bowl or whatever. Like it's like beautiful, beautiful kitchen supplies. These are the ones I can't afford but would love to own. All right, we've also got our salt and pepper shaker. So I'm going to pop those in here, just up a little bit beside it. We might come back and use some of these more than once, but to start with, we're going to go through and stamp in as many of these as we can. So I'm just trying to really be mindful of using up a lot of the space. So that's that. We're going to grab one of our kitchen knives because we can't do any chopping in the kitchen without that. Okay, and I'm going to put it in the other direction just for some interest here. And let's see, we also have our spatula. Okay, so we'll come in with that. I'm actually going to just pop that back a little bit. There we go. Our spatula. What else have we got going on? Oh, there we go. Wouldn't be some good old cooking without our measuring cups. And got to throw in a rolling pin. Put that in kind of on a diagonal like that. And what else have I got? Okay, I'm not going to use little chef hats, and I'm saving the vegetables for later. So now that we've stamped all of our tools, I'm going to come in here again. Oh, good morning, Norma. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad people are popping on now, and I can actually see your comments. That's so nice. So now that I've stamped most of our tools, I'm going to come in here and just fill in the space. I want the whole front of my card covered in kitchen tools. All right, so I'm going to stamp that in that direction. I'm going to bring the knife in again. We'll maybe put it in across like that. There we go. Show off that nice little knife handle. Let's throw in some measuring cups up here and bring another spatula in. Okay, while we still have a nice big space, I'm going to bring our bowl back and stamp our bowl in here. This time I'm going to kind of angle them the other way. There we go. Bring back our salt and pepper shakers. Actually, before I do that, I don't want to close in that space too soon. So I'm going to bring in our kitchen knife again. So as you're doing this, you just want to make sure that you're not eliminating spaces for yourself as you're stamping. All right, so we will do one more salt and pepper shaker, but before we do that, let's put in another spoon. We'll put our spoon in this way. And now we'll pop in our salt and pepper shaker down here at the bottom. There we go. Oops, darn it. Oh, well, that's going to get mostly covered up anyways. All right, so we've really covered the front of our card in all these kitchen tools using smoky slate. Now on the inside, I am going to do our salt and pepper shakers. Just as something special on the inside. And while we've got this all out, I'm also going to grab our envelope and I'm going to stamp the front of our envelope. And I think for the front of our envelope, I'm going to do the salt and pepper shakers as well. There we go. And I just did them on a little bit of an angle. Okay, so we've got all that going on with the gray. I'm going to put all that stuff to the side for now, and we're going to bring in some of the other elements from this stamp set. So I'll move all these bits out of the way, hopefully to where I won't put my elbow in them. Okay, and now I've got just 3 little scraps of paper here. These are 1 inch wide by 2, 2, and 1.5. So when we stack them together, they're going to make the full 5.5 inch height of our card. And I've got my little celery, mushroom, and tomato stamp here. And I'm going to stamp each of these in their own color. Oh, good morning, Martine. Okay, so we'll start with our Just Jade, just because I've got a stack of inks beside me, and it's the top one. And so as I'm stamping these, the only thing I am going to try and do is if I go off the edges, I want to only go off the edges on my sides, not my tops and my bottoms, so that it will kind of create a nice transition from color to color. Now, if I do happen to go off, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to try to keep it like that. All right, and here we go. I'm going to end up going off anyways. There we go. And stamp that in, and I'm just going to kind of fill in my edges. Okay, one more to fill in that edge. All right, so there we go. We've got one piece stamped. I love those little designs. So that was in Just Jade on Just Jade paper. Now I'm going to bring in my absolutely filthy I can't remember what they call this chamois now. I think it's called a Simply Chamois. I don't know. I love it because it's chemical-free cleaning. You just get it wet, stamp your stamps on there, and voila, they're clean. All right, our next color is Bumblebee. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing here. I am going to stamp these images. Just kind of rotating it as well so you get kind of a mix of what's getting stamped on here. There we go. So stamp those images in Bumblebee. And clean it off again. That didn't quite get clean. There we go. That's clean. And then our last one in Calypso Coral. So we're basically just making some little designer series paper here using this beautiful stamp set. All right, let's come this way, top to bottom reversed. There we go. And one more tomato. Awesome. Okay, so that is our little faux DSP that we've created in our cooking designs. I just love these little guys, and they make great like little pizza toppings and stuff. You could ink up just one of the images or all of them. Super fun. All right, so now let's get these onto our card because I'm awful at losing bits otherwise. So we've got our very plain gray and white background. We're going to glue these on. And so I'm just going to start with my top one, my Calypso Coral. And I'm putting a bit of liquid glue on the back. Now you could use whatever kind of glue you like, but for me I like the liquid glue because it allows me to kind of wiggle it around. Now I'm going to put this on my card so that I'm somewhat covering up my images here, but I am leaving just that little strip along the side. Then I'm going to put down my Bumblebee. So again, just take that liquid glue and I'm just putting the thinnest layer across the back there. And then I'm going to make sure that this lines up completely with my Calypso Coral. No gaps in there or anything. And then finally my Just Jade. There we go. And pop that on there. And now this one just hung over the bottom a little bit, which means I wasn't super careful with my cutting, but that's okay. That's an easy fix. Better that it be too long than too short. We can just flip this over and you can see on the inside we have a really clear view. Oh, good morning, Joanne. And so we're going to come in here and use the base of our card to help us trim that. There we go. So yeah, always better to have your paper too long than too short. So that, oh, and that is so ridiculously crooked. Wow, I'm just noticing that now. It's been a rough morning here. I do not have enough coffee in my system. Okay, so I've actually let that sit too long, so we're just going to have to go with it being super crooked and hope that the other things that we add to this card kind of hide that. So yeah, you definitely want to be more careful than me in making sure that those are going on straight. All right, so our next thing that we're going to do, though, is going to really hide that up. We've got so many great sentiments. Where'd my stamp set go? I'll show you guys again. We have all these great ones. So sending you a dash of kindness and a spoonful of love. For you, happiness is homemade, and what's cookin'. So what's cookin' is what I'm going to be using on today's card. I actually thought these cards would be fabulous for like an epicure consultant or like a pampered chef consultant or whatever. It can be just like a get in touch with your customers kind of thing, or like a thank you card or whatever. All right, so I'm going to stamp my what's cookin' in Versamark on a piece of black. And so I've just stamped that. So Versamark is a clear ink. It doesn't dry super quickly. So I've got some time here to now grab my white embossing powder. And I just kind of keep mine in a tray so it's quick and easy to access. And I'm going to just put that across, and then I'm just going to tap off the excess. Now, I do have some here that's kind of sticking, and it doesn't want to tap off, so instead of continuing to just like tap wildly, I'm going to come in and just loosen it, because it's not actually sticking to anything, it's just static cling that's making it stay there. The stuff on the words is sticking because I've got the Versamark there holding it in place, but that other white is just sticking with static. So we'll just wipe it away. Now, if you accidentally wipe away some that's actually stuck to your Versamark, you can just dip this again and put more back on there. I don't know how many times you can do that before it won't stick, but you can do it 1 or 2 times. All right, so now we have that. We're ready to heat emboss it. Oh, thanks, Christina. Good morning, Gail. All right, so we're going to heat emboss this. There we go. All right, and now we're going to use a punch, and actually I'm just going to quickly look it up because I never remember the name of this punch. I really should actually write it on my punches. Okay, this is called the Label Me Fancy punch that we're going to use. And what I love about this one is it's got the bits to put like the little holes for adding ribbons and stuff. We're not using that feature today, but I really do like that feature on this one. So I'm going to put this in sideways, line that up so it's straight, or as straight as I can get it today, because I seem to be challenged with that. I'm going to punch that out. Okay, so if I was going to be adding one of these labels, I could then hold this in here and punch it so that I'd get those little, either the flat hole for the longer, like the wider ribbons, or the circular hole for like twine or whatever. All right, so that's done. So I've got that piece. Now before I put it onto my card, I'm actually going to do like a little fun ribbony thing in the background. Oh, good morning, Karen. So I've got this awesome bumblebee gingham ribbon, and I'm just going to cut off a piece that's like, I don't know, going to stick out both ends of my What's Cookin' label there. So I've just kind of crossed it over and we'll trim it up. So that's all I want of my gingham ribbon, bumblebee gingham. And then I've got a jar here with 5 rolls of baker's twine in it. This is our like essentials pack, and so you get black and white, crumb cake vanilla, and gray granite. And so I'm going to use gray granite today, and I'm going to use it to keep this. Oh, by the way, these don't come in the fun jar. This is just a lid that I grabbed at Planet Organic back when it was called Planet Organic, and it just goes on the mason jars. So however you store your twine. So I'm just going to grab a piece of this and tie a knot around here, and I've actually kept it like still attached to the spool while I do this, just because I don't need too much. So I'm just going to tie it off and then snip what I need. So I have left 2 fairly long ends because I want to tie a really sloppy bow on here. But the easiest way to actually tie that bow is to attach this to our card front first. That way it's not going to move around on me. So I'm going to grab a mini glue dot. You can use the boxed ones, or I like to just use the leftovers from my paper pumpkin. And now I'm going to put my label right here. So I'm going to put my mini glue dot right around this, where the center of my label would be. And I'm going to stick that knot that I've created right on there. So now that's going to hold in place so that it's steady while I tie my bow. And when I do mine, I do the bunny ears, but you can do yours however you like to tie your bows. But securing that piece to your card is really going to help. All right, so I'm going to get this nice big sloppy bow here and let those ends stick up like that. And I'm going to keep the ends long, I'm going to keep the bows long, like everything about this is going to stay big. On the back of my little label here, I'm going to put 2 dimensionals, one on each end. There we go. Peel those off. And I'm going to pop this down so that it kind of overlaps all my ribbons and overlaps onto my colored DSP on the side and all of that. And then I can just kind of fiddle with that and make sure it stays open the way I want it to. Okay, there we go. All right. And that is just about finished. We're just going to grab, actually, you know what? We're not going to grab anything. I was going to put some embellishments on it, but I actually think that this card doesn't need any more embellishments. The double ribbon is probably just enough. So there you have it. That is our finished card. So kind of fun, lots of patterns going on, but because we've got just a bit of color and then the gray and white, it kind of doesn't feel too overwhelming. And it is the perfect card just to say hi to one of your baker friends or chef friends. And I mean, you could change this up and just use the baking bits or just use the cooking bits, bring in a cutting board, you know, do all sorts of things. But yeah, that is our card for today. So I'm just going to switch my screen back over to me. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today for this card. I agree, Karen. Sometimes less is best. Try not to kind of overdo the cards with all those embellishments and stuff, although it can be so much fun. If I was going to use embellishments on that, I think I'd go with something pretty subtle like the Genial Gems and just maybe throw in a little bit, a little dash of a bit more green into there. So yeah, that is my card. Now on my little screen here, it does say to contact me to join my $1,000 party. In the description, there's a link to that, but basically what it is with a $100 order placed with me, you'll actually get your $100 order. You'll earn rewards, and I have like a whole bunch of rewards that are going to be available, $30, $20, $10. You'll also get a PDF of a really fun party puffin tutorial that I've done, and an 1/8 of a pack of the Pattern Party DSP. So that's 24 6x6 sheets of that Pattern Party DSP. That's so much fun. And the cards in the tutorial are created using that same patterned paper. So yeah, lots of little perks to join this party. It's basically, I just have so many celebrations this month. My dad's birthday, 2 of my son's birthdays, my best friend's birthday, like we're just overloaded. And so I thought I'd find a fun way to celebrate with you guys and be able to share a whole bunch of extra goodies with you. So contact me if you're interested in that, or click the link and find out all the details, because I just went through that pretty quickly. And I hope you guys enjoy seeing some more of my What's Cookin' samples that I'm going to be posting later this week. Bye, everyone.